Have you ever had a moment where everything was fine, and suddenly you felt like something was wrong? Nothing happened. No bad news. No problem. No danger. And yet your chest feels tight. Your stomach feels uneasy. Your mind starts scanning the future for problems. Maybe it happens on Sunday night. The weekend was calm. You rested. Nothing stressful happened. But as the evening gets quiet, a strange feeling appears. Something bad is about to happen. You check your phone. You think about work. You replay conversations. You imagine worst-case scenarios you can't even explain. Maybe it happens during good moments. A peaceful dinner. A relaxing vacation. A quiet evening at home. You should feel calm. Safe. Happy. But instead, your body feels tense, like it's waiting for bad news. So you start asking yourself questions you can't answer. Why can't I relax? Why does calm feel suspicious? Why does silence feel uncomfortable? If this feels familiar, you're not imagining it. You're not being dramatic. You're not too anxious. Your nervous system is following a pattern. And once you understand why your body expects danger even in safe moments, this feeling starts to make sense. The feeling usually appears quietly. There is no obvious trigger, no dramatic event, no clear reason. Life may even be going well. Work feels stable. Relationships feel calm. Nothing urgent is happening. And yet, in the middle of this calm, a subtle tension begins to rise. It might start as a physical sensation. A tight chest. A restless stomach. A sudden wave of unease that you cannot explain. Your body feels alert even though your environment is quiet. You look around and nothing is wrong. But the feeling remains. This is often the moment when the mind starts searching for explanations. You check your phone to see if you missed something. You think about work. You think about finances. You think about your health. You scan your memory for unfinished tasks. You try to identify what could be wrong. The search feels urgent because the feeling feels real. Your body is reacting as if something important is happening, even when nothing is. This is what makes the experience so confusing. The emotional reaction appears before the logical explanation. Your body sounds the alarm, and your mind tries to figure out why. You may notice this feeling most strongly during quiet moments. Sunday evenings. Late nights. Long drives. Vacations. Moments when life slows down and there is nothing demanding your attention. Instead of feeling relaxed, you feel uneasy. You might sit on the couch after a long day, finally ready to relax, and suddenly feel restless. You pick up your phone without thinking. You scroll. You check messages. You check emails. You look for something to focus on. Not because you need to, but because stillness feels uncomfortable. This discomfort can feel especially strong during times that are supposed to be enjoyable. A peaceful dinner. A quiet weekend. A vacation. A holiday. Moments that should feel safe and pleasant can feel strangely tense. You might catch yourself thinking, "This feels too calm." Or something feels off. The mind begins preparing for a problem that does not exist yet. You might imagine future scenarios. What if something goes wrong at work tomorrow? What if there is bad news? What if I forgot something important? What if something happens to someone I care about? These thoughts feel involuntary. They appear automatically. And once they appear, they are difficult to ignore. The nervous system moves into preparation mode. Your body becomes alert. Your mind becomes busy. You feel a need to anticipate and prepare. This preparation creates the illusion of control. If you think about every possible problem, you will be ready. If you imagine worst-case scenarios, you will not be surprised. If you stay alert, you will stay safe. But this constant preparation comes with a cost. Relaxation becomes difficult. Rest feels unproductive. Stillness feels suspicious. Instead of enjoying quiet moments, you feel compelled to fill them. With tasks. With planning. With scrolling. With thinking. With doing anything that prevents the feeling of stillness. Over time, the nervous system begins associating calm with vulnerability. When nothing is happening, your body prepares for something to happen. This creates a cycle. The more you anticipate danger, the more your body expects it. The more your body expects it, the more alert you feel during calm moments. And slowly, calm stops feeling like safety. Calm begins to feel like waiting. To understand why calm can feel like waiting, we have to go back to how the nervous system learns what safety feels like. Just like the patterns in relationships, the body's response to calm is not random. It is learned through repeated experiences, especially early in life. When we are children, our nervous systems are still developing. We do not yet know how the world works, so we rely on the environment around us to teach us what is safe and what is not. These lessons do not come through words. They come through repeated emotional experiences. If a child grows up in an environment where life feels mostly predictable and calm, the nervous system learns that calm equals safety. Quiet moments feel peaceful. Stillness feels relaxing. Silence feels neutral. But for many people, early life contained a mixture of calm and sudden stress. Not necessarily dramatic events, but environments where tension could appear unexpectedly. A household where moods shifted quickly. Where stress appeared without warning. Where emotional tension could rise suddenly. In environments like this, calm does not feel stable. Calm feels temporary. The nervous system begins to associate quiet moments with anticipation. Not because something bad always happened, but because sometimes it did. And unpredictability teaches the nervous system to stay alert. Imagine a child in a home where the emotional atmosphere changes quickly. The house might be peaceful one moment and tense the next. A caregiver might be calm one day and stressed the next. Arguments may appear suddenly. Stress may rise without warning. The child does not understand the details. They do not analyze the situation logically. But their nervous system learns the pattern. Silence can change quickly. Calm can disappear suddenly. Safety is not guaranteed to last. So the nervous system develops a protective strategy: stay prepared. Instead of relaxing during calm moments, the body stays slightly alert. Watching. Listening. Monitoring. Waiting for changes in tone, mood, or energy. This is not conscious. It is automatic. Over time, the nervous system becomes trained to expect change during quiet moments. Stillness becomes the time when attention increases, not decreases. This adaptation is incredibly intelligent. It helps the child notice changes quickly. It helps them respond faster. It helps them feel prepared in environments where emotional stability is uncertain. But the nervous system does not automatically update this rule in adulthood. Years later, the environment may be stable. Life may be calm. There may be no sudden mood shifts or unexpected stress. Yet the nervous system continues following the old rule. When things are quiet, stay alert. This is why unease often appears during peaceful moments. The body is following an old survival pattern that once made sense. Another important piece of this pattern is how the nervous system learns through repetition. If stressful events often followed calm periods, the brain learns to link the two. Calm becomes the signal that something might be coming. This is called anticipation conditioning. The body prepares for stress before it happens. You may notice this in everyday adult life. The uneasy feeling before Monday morning. The tension before checking email. The restlessness before a phone call. The sense of dread before an unknown outcome. Even when nothing is wrong, the nervous system prepares for the possibility of something going wrong. This preparation feels responsible. It feels practical. It feels like planning ahead. But when the preparation never turns off, calm stops feeling restful. The nervous system becomes stuck in anticipation mode. Always ready. Always scanning. Always waiting. And when the body is always waiting, relaxation feels unfamiliar. As this pattern continues into adulthood, it begins to shape everyday life in ways that often go unnoticed. You may not think of yourself as anxious. You may not feel worried all the time. You may even describe your life as stable or calm. Yet beneath the surface, your nervous system remains quietly alert. This alertness shows up most clearly during moments when there is nothing demanding your attention. Moments when life slows down. Moments when the day is finished, the tasks are complete, and there is finally time to rest. Instead of feeling relief, your body feels restless. You might notice it late at night when you lie down to sleep. The day is over. Nothing else needs to be done. The lights are off. The room is quiet. And suddenly your mind becomes active. You start replaying the day. Conversations. Emails. Small details that felt insignificant earlier. Your brain begins searching for mistakes, unfinished tasks, or potential problems. You imagine scenarios that might happen tomorrow. You prepare responses to conversations that have not happened yet. Sleep becomes difficult, not because you are physically uncomfortable, but because your mind has entered preparation mode. This same pattern appears during weekends or vacations. Time that is meant for rest can feel strangely uncomfortable. When there is no schedule, no deadlines, and no urgency, the nervous system searches for something to prepare for. You may feel an urge to check your phone repeatedly. To plan the next week. To think about work. To organize your surroundings. To create tasks where none exist. Doing something feels easier than doing nothing. This is because activity creates a sense of control. Activity gives the nervous system a focus. When you are doing something, you are not waiting. Waiting is what feels uncomfortable. The same pattern appears in quiet social moments. Sitting in silence with someone. Riding in a car without conversation. Walking without distractions. These moments can feel tense even when they are peaceful. You may feel an urge to fill the silence. To start a conversation. To check your phone. To create movement. Stillness feels like vulnerability. This constant readiness can create a sense of being always on. Even during rest, part of your mind remains alert. Monitoring. Preparing. Scanning. Over time, this can lead to mental fatigue. Not the exhaustion that comes from physical effort, but the exhaustion that comes from constant readiness. You may feel tired even after resting. Drained even after a quiet day. Because your nervous system never fully powers down. This constant readiness can also create a subtle sense of dread. A background feeling that something is coming, even when you do not know what. A sense that calm is temporary and must be used to prepare for the next challenge. This feeling is difficult to explain because it does not have a clear cause. It is not tied to a specific event or problem. It is a state of anticipation. And anticipation keeps the nervous system activated. Over time, this activation becomes familiar. So familiar that the absence of it can feel strange. When the body finally experiences calm without anticipation, it may feel empty or uncomfortable. The nervous system is so used to being ready that it does not immediately know how to relax. This is why calm can feel uneasy instead of peaceful. And once this pattern is recognized, it begins to make sense. When you begin to see this pattern clearly, the meaning of the feeling starts to change. For a long time, the sense that something bad is about to happen probably felt like intuition. It felt like your mind was being responsible, realistic, and prepared. It felt like you were simply thinking ahead and trying to stay one step in front of potential problems. But from the perspective of the nervous system, something very different is happening. This feeling is not a prediction. It is a memory. The body does not track time the way the thinking mind does. The mind understands past, present, and future. The nervous system understands repetition, association, and emotional patterns. It remembers how things felt, not when they happened. If calm once meant a pause before stress, the body learns that calm is a warning sign. If quiet moments were often followed by tension, conflict, pressure, or sudden responsibility, the nervous system begins to connect these experiences into a single emotional sequence. First comes silence. Then comes change. First comes calm. Then comes stress. Over time, the body stops waiting for proof. It begins preparing in advance. This is how anticipation becomes automatic. You do not decide to feel this way. You do not consciously think, something bad is coming. The body moves into preparation mode before the mind has time to evaluate the situation. The alarm sounds first, and the explanation comes later. This is why the feeling can be so confusing. You feel tension before you know what you are tense about. You feel unease before you know what is wrong. You feel alert before there is any danger to respond to. The nervous system is not trying to predict the future. It is trying to prevent surprise. And preventing surprise once made sense. Imagine growing up in an environment where emotional tone could shift quickly. Not necessarily dramatic or traumatic events, but small, repeated changes. A peaceful evening suddenly interrupted by stress. A quiet afternoon followed by tension. Calm moments that did not always stay calm. When this happens repeatedly, the nervous system learns that calm is temporary. Calm becomes the moment to prepare for what might come next. This learning is incredibly intelligent. The body is trying to protect you. If you are already alert, you cannot be caught off guard. If you are already prepared, you will react faster. If you expect change, you will not be shocked when it happens. The nervous system begins to believe that vigilance equals safety. And this belief does not automatically update when life becomes more stable. Years later, the environment may be safe. Life may be predictable. The sudden shifts may no longer exist. But the body continues following the old rule. When things are quiet, prepare. When nothing is happening, get ready. When life slows down, stay alert. This is why the feeling appears during calm moments. During evenings, weekends, vacations, or peaceful nights. These are the moments when the nervous system historically expected change. These are the moments when it learned to prepare. So the body does what it was trained to do. It increases awareness. It scans for potential threats. It prepares for possible problems. The mind then steps in and tries to explain the feeling. You begin thinking about work, finances, health, relationships, responsibilities. You search for a logical reason to justify the physical sensation. The thoughts appear after the feeling, but they feel like the cause. It feels like you are worried, but in reality you are explaining a physical state that already existed. The body sounded the alarm first. The mind is trying to figure out why. This is why the feeling feels so real and so convincing. Your body is reacting as if something is about to happen. Your heart rate changes. Your muscles tense. Your breathing shifts. The sensation is physical and immediate. The brain does not like unexplained sensations. It tries to create a story that makes sense of the experience. So it looks ahead. It imagines scenarios. It predicts problems. It prepares solutions. It feels like planning, but it is actually explaining. The nervous system created the tension. The mind created the narrative. Over time, this pattern becomes familiar. So familiar that the absence of it can feel strange. Moments of complete relaxation may feel uncomfortable at first. Stillness can feel empty. Silence can feel unsettling. A fully calm evening can feel unfamiliar. Because the body is not used to resting without waiting. There is a powerful difference between waiting and resting. Waiting assumes something is coming. Resting allows nothing to happen. If the nervous system has spent years waiting, true rest feels unfamiliar. It does not recognize stillness as safety yet. This is why learning to feel safe in calm moments takes time. The nervous system updates through repetition, not logic. Each time you experience calm and nothing bad follows, the body collects new evidence. Each time a quiet evening stays quiet, the nervous system begins to soften its expectation. This process is slow and subtle, but it is how the pattern begins to change. The body starts learning a new association. Calm does not always mean danger is coming. Calm can mean safety is here. And once the nervous system begins to learn this, the constant anticipation slowly begins to fade. When this pattern begins to soften, something very important changes in the way you experience calm. For a long time, quiet moments may have felt like a pause before something stressful. Stillness may have felt suspicious. Relaxation may have felt temporary, like something that could disappear at any moment. But slowly, the nervous system starts learning a new emotional rule. Nothing is about to happen. At first, this realization does not arrive as a dramatic breakthrough. It arrives quietly. Subtly. Almost unnoticed. You may begin to experience small moments of calm that feel different from before. A quiet evening that does not turn into worry. A peaceful weekend that does not feel restless. A moment of silence that does not trigger anticipation. These moments feel simple, but they are deeply meaningful. They are evidence that the nervous system is updating its expectations. The body is learning that calm does not always lead to stress. Stillness does not always lead to change. Quiet does not always mean preparation is required. This learning happens through repetition. Not through forcing yourself to relax, but through allowing calm moments to exist without interruption. Each time you experience safety without anticipation, the nervous system gathers new evidence. And slowly, the background tension begins to fade. You may notice that evenings feel softer. That weekends feel slower. That silence feels less urgent. You may notice that you are not scanning the future as often. That you are not preparing for problems that have not appeared. That your thoughts are not constantly moving ahead to the next responsibility. Instead, your attention begins to settle into the present. This shift can feel unfamiliar at first. If your nervous system has spent years anticipating the future, being present can feel strange. It can even feel uncomfortable. The urge to plan, prepare, or predict may still appear. But over time, the body learns that presence is safe. Presence is not the absence of responsibility. It is the absence of unnecessary anticipation. Life will always include challenges. There will always be moments that require preparation and planning. But the nervous system no longer needs to remain in preparation mode all the time. It learns to move between readiness and rest. This flexibility is what safety feels like. Safety is not the absence of problems. It is the ability to relax when problems are not present. For many people, this is a completely new emotional experience. A nervous system that once believed vigilance was necessary begins to understand that rest is allowed. And with this understanding comes a new relationship with calm. Calm is no longer a pause before something bad happens. Calm becomes the moment where nothing needs to happen. And in that moment, the body can finally stop waiting.